welcome to Hack the Dino's Critical Path, where we sit down and discuss a gaming topic each and every time. This is the 102nd episode. What we're going to look at today is the game of the year so far. I figured we're halfway through the year. We're currently careening towards the end of July. So we're going to look at all the games that have been released in the year 2020, the fantastic, fun-filled, nothing bad happening at all ever year. And every game that was released up until, the 30th of June, we're going to sort of look at and discuss what we think Game of the Year might be. Now, there are a couple of rules for this. The first one is going to be that the game has to get above an 80 on Metacritic for us to consider it. That's not saying our own personal picks have to be above 80 on the Metacritic. It's just for us to discuss these 10 I think I've got. It has to rate above that. But before we crack into that, I just want to have a quick discussion. What personally do we look for in a game of the year, Floppy?
Ooh, okay. So first thing I look at is narrative. It's pretty much what I look at whenever I play any game because I like stories. Mm-hmm. I like comics, movies, books. So I've got to care about what's happening in the game and what happens next. I got to like what it looks like. Depending on what the style is, it doesn't have to be the same. Always be ultra realistic, but I have to like what I'm looking at. And does the style fit the gameplay and the narrative? Mm-hmm. Is it innovative? Does it do something that tries to be either new or just do something older but in a new way? Not every game does it. Not every game has to, but I think a game of the year should. Mm-hmm. Is it just rehashing old ideas?
A lot of the time, a lot of them are polished versions of older ideas.
And I'm okay with that. But if it's just doing the same stuff, I don't think it should be a game.
Like if it's just, re-releasing a game.
Pong.
Yes. The other thing is gameplay. So how complex is it? How intuitive are the controls? Is there a leveling system? Is that system balanced? And how easy can it be picked up? I think easy to pick up, hard to master is the way to go.
Right. For me, it's how it hooks a player in. If you become immersed in the world or if you're somewhat disconnected from it. I think a really good, engaging game should, as I said, hook the player in and make you not want to leave that world and want to play it, not feel obliged to play it. Much like yourself, Floppy, the narrative is big for me. It has to be engaging. It has to hook you in. I should be a fisherman. The mechanics, is it fun to play? Or is how much of it's irritating? Do we you've lost me with that. And lastly, the replayability. Can I see myself going back and playing it again? For example, God of War 2018, I've played it through once. I fully intend to go back and play that again. Likewise, Breath of the Wild, I've actually played through that 2 or 3 times now because it's just an engaging game and it hits all those check marks for me. You'll notice I didn't say graphics because I think style is more important than graphics. If it's got a good style to it, like the good graphics, realistic graphics might be part of that style, but it also might be cartoony, whatever graphics. As long as it fits all together and is part of the narrative, I'm okay with it.
Yeah, I'm the same. That's what I was saying with the style of...
Celeste,
doesn't have to be ultra realistic, just has to fit what it's doing.
What was that? Owlboy. That was one of the contenders.
I like Owlboy. Owlboy.
I agree. I agree with all those as well, obviously. Yeah. But the other thing I feel that this is just a small one for me. When I've looked back on a lot of the past winners, a lot of them are the games that start really simple. As in, like, they don't offer you all the weapons, they don't offer you the whole world, and they don't even have a tutorial. I think a lot of the games that have tutorials don't actually win Game of the Year. It's the ones that tell the gameplay through the story, through the narrative, and just drip feed you a slow burn, and you get better and better and better and better. The games are... Has anyone played a game that you come into it, you've got a tutorial that goes for an hour, they give you everything the game can do, and by the end you just...
And you can't remember
frazzled, and you don't remember any of it.
Yeah.
A real good game, Games of the Year, and I've looked at a lot of the past with, it doesn't go for all of them, but a lot of them, like God of War does it. It starts, you just got an axe and a kid, and it slowly drip feeds you all the stuff.
Axe and a kid.
Some stuff like
the elevator
hit the bad guys with either one.
But even like the Witcher 3, like as someone who doesn't play the Witcher, I had a go at it. You start off, it's very simple. You start off with a sword. You start off with 2 swords. Kind of has a little tutorial, but then like it leaves it up to the player and the story to drip feed the progress of it And I think that's what people really like in games, like learning it, feeling they've got 100% control of the ability that they're using then, and then they add a little bit on top.
So they're engaging in the game. They're immersing into it.
Yeah, and they become good at the... they get everything done. They become really good at it, and then they add on to that. So they've already got a character they love, and everything on top of that is like pudding on top.
Pudding?
So
Toppings,
I know
maybe?
that's a weird thing, but that's what I've noticed with a lot of them. Like, even like, Red Dead Redemption, there's no tutorials really. You just kind of start, you've got nothing, and you build up slowly as you go along. These are some Dragon Age Inquisition. I was the same. You start very simple. That does get quite complicated. And then there's also the Elder Scrolls. You start off with nothing in that game. There's no tutorial what to do. You kind of just go in. But like I said, that isn't...
What, is that Skyrim?
No,
Yeah.
no, Elder Scrolls Online or
Skyrim, sorry.
Skyrim, that's not true. You wake up from a nice rest, so you've got
Isn't that the one
A
where you
lot
have a
of energy
dragon
and-
that just hit you?
No, you wake up in
no,
the
you
jail,
wake up,
don't you?
oh, so you're awake.
No, that's the one beforehand. You think of jail.
No, the one where you're in the car and then the
Skyrim.
dragon
Yeah,
comes.
Skyrim is
Yeah.
where you get attacked by a dragon.
Yeah, but like you start off with nothing.
And then if you're really cool, you put a mod on and like the dragon's Thomas the Tank Engine, or it's like Macho Man Randy
Or you
Savage,
put-
and it comes in and goes, oh yeah.
Or you put
Bones
realistic
ready.
bodies on and all the dudes have flopping wangs. It's a real mod.
We
He
play
loves
different mods,
wings.
Dan.
I don't.
All right.
So that was just like, so that, I mean, because there was all the stuff you guys said, obviously, but I had to add a little bit more in there. But that's just what
Well,
I
know.
feel.
It's good.
All right, here we go. So these are 10 of the games that I've picked out for Game of the Year contenders. They have all ranked above 80 on Metacritic, which what we all know is the overall score from all of the reviews, etc., etc. So the first one, scoring an 82 on Metacritic for the Switch, is Clubhouse Games, 51 Worldwide Classics. Who can see this as Game of the Year?
What the hell?
This is sold really well, though, hasn't it?
Yeah, Go on it. I love Go.
Yeah, it has. I think in Japan, it's number 1 or number 2 on the eShop.
Yeah, it's crazy.
Ridiculous. But
I bet,
yeah,
and
Clubhouse
you know
Games.
what? 51 games in there. I bet there's 5 that are just continually played, and it could have been called 5 Clubhouse Games, and if they had those 5 people.
No,
still
that's
would have
not
been
true,
happy.
because at least 10 of them are different versions of Mahjong.
And it looked like there was 3
That's
versions
the one
of Go.
you can play that game in Assassin's Creed 4, I think. It's a old pirate game, or is it that one?
They should bring out a game which is all in-game games from other games, like
Oh, that'd be cool.
like Gwent, and I mean Gwent is its own thing now, but like you know what I mean. Next one.
Pao Shy, or whatever it is. Oh, look, it's me tennis. Next one, coming in at 87 with score at Metacritic, Final Fantasy VII Remake for the PlayStation 4. Floppy, I know you have feelings about this.
Yeah.
You
Do
want
you
to share some
want
of
me
them?
to go through it now, or maybe later?
Well, just...
No, I got it later.
All
I'll
right.
do it later.
All right, we'll go through
It's
it later.
there. It's
All right, so Final
VII.
Fantasy VII Remake is a Game of the Year contender.
What is this footage?
Next one. Oh, so
I just
bring that
thought-
back up, Braden.
Okay, we'll go back to it.
Was that just LA
basi-
tram system?
No, basically, we got suspended from YouTube for showing footage of Final Fantasy VII Remake. We've only just got back on after 3 months, so I'm not taking any chances. And we're just showing some footage of
Final Fantasy 7.
Final Fantasy VII
the textures, Dan.
realistic edition.
You know what's going to happen? These guys who made this YouTube video are going to sue us, and we're going to
Yeah, probably.
I get banned from YouTube for 9 months.
Okay, next game. That's why I wanted you to elaborate on that, so we could have a
I'll
nice
get
little
to that
gag.
point.
Coming in with a Metacritic score of 88 is Doom Eternal, specifically the Xbox One edition.
Why?
I don't know, but on Metacritic, Doom,
Metacritic.
on the Metacritic, the
Disney
cricket, the cricket that knows the game as well as what's not in the game behind the game. Anyway, yeah, the Xbox One version scored an 88.
I haven't played this for a little while. Man, that's fast.
It looks cool. Coming in at 89 is Dreams for the PlayStation 4. Now we can talk about this one a little bit. Can it be a game if you're making games?
No.
No.
It's more of a platform, right?
It's a platform.
Yes.
It's like it's like Photoshop winning Game of the Year.
Yeah, it's like a Sketchpad being the best art
The
piece
best
of the
book.
year. Yeah, this was
You
it's
know,
what
I
you
mean-
do with it that makes it good.
If certain artists did that, it would be artist of the year, a game
Yeah.
art of the year. Oh man, Dan, talk.
Yeah, you're catching my problem. Gonorrhea. Xenoblade Chronicles Definitive Edition came in with 89 on the Switch. Now, Floppy, you're a big fan of Xenoblade, aren't you?
I am.
What do you think about this possibly being Game of the Year?
Oh, I don't think that's okay because it's not a complete rebuild, so it's a same.
Yeah.
Oh, is it just a spit and polish?
It was a spit and polish. It was a definitive edition. So
I know
whereas the
Link
Final
would probably
Fantasy
think
VII
it's
was
his Game of the
rebuilt
Year.
from the ground up.
Didn't they get new voice actors though, or change the voice acting?
Oh, they probably did something.
There was tweaks and stuff like that, but it wasn't like it's still essentially the same game.
Getting new voice acting is more than a tweak. That's pretty dedicated.
Next.
Yeah, but I'd say unless it's a full rebuild, like so from the ground up, new game, go for it. Like don't get me wrong, I love this game. This is great. Oh, look at that guy! What a cool guy. But I don't think it should be.
He loves this game, but doesn't know the name of the main character.
Yeah. His name's Blue Sword.
Yeah,
That's right.
Schultz.
His name's Damien Schultz. That's actually a guy I went to school with.
I like to call people cool guys.
Anyway,
Never call me
next
cool
one.
guy.
Nope,
Coming in with a
never
score
do.
of 90 is Ori and the Will of the Wisps. Dan, you played this on Xbox Games
Yeah.
Pass.
I think me and a couple of friends, Game Boy Dad, played it as well. I don't know many people that have played this apart from me and a couple of friends. Like you say Ori and the Will of the Wisp to every man, and they won't know what you're talking about. So I can't see this being Game of the Year.
But
you know what I mean?
Control won it last year. Well, technically, won one of the websites. You wouldn't know Control, and that one.
I did.
Well, you did because you played it and you enjoyed it. But going by your logic of going up to the average guy in the street and going Ori and the Will and the Wisps, if you go up and go, "Hey, Control,"
Control is such an art piece in a different.
and this isn't. Look at this game is beautiful.
In a different way, where this is basically Castlevania sideways scroller. It does look beautiful, but I just don't think it's Game of the Year material. It is a great game. Don't get me wrong. But it still is just Castlevania.
It definitely deserves to be played more than it does.
Yeah.
More people need to play it.
And I think it might have got suffered from bad timing. Maybe it came out when
I think it got delayed a
some
lot.
IP came, big IPs came out. Maybe Pokemon or something like that.
Well,
or
maybe because it's only on the Xbox.
maybe because it's only on Game Pass and no one actually bought it.
Ridiculous. Buy Game Pass, everyone.
Just buy the game. Don't buy Game Pass.
Coming in also with a 90 is Animal Crossing New Horizons. Braden,
Stupid game.
Hey, how you doing?
why should this be Game of the Year?
Animal
Never.
Crossing's great fun. I do believe that it's had a huge cultural impact this year.
Definitely cultural impact.
For this year specifically, I would never put Animal Crossing as a contender in any other year.
Is Animal Crossing still there or is it done?
It is still there. They are still updating it. They just added a recent one where you can dive into the oceans nearby.
Yep.
And you can go swimming
drown.
for sea creatures.
No, you go swimming. And because it's winter in the southern hemisphere, you go polar bear
Does it go
diving.
underwater? Do you have underwater view?
No, you go underwater to capture octopus and crabs.
It goes to a bird's eye view over the top of you.
Okay.
But yeah, that's that's their summer update that they did, and then they're gonna continue updating it.
And they're all
keep
free.
going.
The updates are all free.
Well, that's good.
Yeah. Braden, Dan.
Yeah, I feel I haven't heard much about it recently. Like there was that it was on fire for a while. Everyone was talking about
3
it.
or 4 months.
It
Yeah.
was on fire for a while, and then the world caught on fire, and everyone sort of forgot about it.
No, this came in peak fire.
Yeah, March
peak world death.
March
That's what
20.
made it such a good vibe that everyone could stay inside and communicate with each other with it. But me as myself, I'm just not one of those people who got it and will never ever play it probably.
I tried it and it infuriated me.
Speaking of things that Dan will never get, coming in with 93 on Metacritic is Half-Life Alyx.
Sick burn. I might get this. You never know.
Really? You're going to spend, what, $1,500 on a setup?
Yeah.
Yeah, actually, you probably would.
Because you know, $1,500 for a Valve Index, which is the Valve VR set. That's the one you're going to use for everything from now on. It works with not just that. It works with all VR games. And then you got finger tracking and stuff. And finger tracking is the bomb. I've never used it. I assume it's the bomb. You know what I mean? The ability to pick stuff up and look at it and just that's that one thing in VR. Yeah, I don't think it's Game of the Year because the problem with Game of this is no one can play it. No one in Australia can play it. You're not even allowed to buy the VR. I've tried to buy one from Valve and they're like, sorry, we're not shipping to your country. And there's no reason because I've looked it up. The power pack is the same as ours. There's no reason. There's no power pack. It's just charging.
You need to find someone in the States to buy you one and send
Well,
it
I
over.
could do that, but I'm
I
like,
got someone in the States.
I'm more like, Val, what are you doing, you turkey brothers?
What's Ian Rachie? If you're watching right now, we could totally use a Valve Index or two, maybe. Just saying.
Look at Mr. Codemaster here.
Well, he's a games anthropologist. He does have his hookups. Is that a hookup?
I know
An
people in
anthropologist hookup?
Yeah, sure.
Speaking of hookups, coming in with a 94, The Last of Us Part 2.
I haven't played it yet.
Hookups because people hook up and also use hooks to up people with...
Last of Us
Yeah.
2.
Man.
This is definitely a contender.
Did I hear that they motion captured an actual horse for this?
Yeah, do you know what they... one of the bosses, not to give away too much of a spoiler, but one of the bosses, they had to get several mocap actors to like piggyback on each other to mocap. Like, seriously. I don't want to talk too much about it, but yeah, it's pretty funny.
That sounds intriguing.
And lastly, with the highest current Metacritic score, with a 95, is Persona 5 Royale. And I'm not too sure, can we include this as a 2020 release? It's it's the game with additional content, right?
It's the same rules as Xenoblade.
As Xenoblade. I mean, they added. I think someone. I think it was.
But
someone in the chat
Xenoblade-
said Triple Indie was. They're saying that it had a new epilogue or something put in there as well. But it's the same game essentially.
Yeah.
Same with Persona Royal. Now I know that in the chat, Dylan Stevens is a massive Persona 5 fan.
Mm-hmm.
He'd probably pick this.
They also took out a bit of the homophobic stuff out of it as well.
Oh, really?
yeah,
That's
they
good.
took out
Good.
the cross-dressing, like paying out the cross-dresser and stuff.
Oh, good. Excellent. Good decision. So it really is the definitive. Like this game, it's hard.
That guy's voice in the English one.
Skater XL is
Kamashita.
not out.
Yeah,
Patrick.
it's such a great voice.
Yeah. All right. So there are options. Dan, what are you picking for Game of the Year so far? This isn't for the year. This is just the first.
No,
half.
I'm going for my personal Game of the Year because I honestly,
Yep.
I can I say what I think Game of the Year will be?
Yep.
It's gonna be Last of Us 2.
Okay.
There's no way it can't be. But my personal Game of the Year is Doom Eternal, man. That game is me. That game has like the best amount of real-time damage that you can do on characters. You can blow them off. You can blow a bit of the arm off and like we'll still have the bone there, still the arm. You can blow the whole arm off. You can blow bits of skin off. You can burn it. You can gouge it. You can cut it. And that's just in this little tiny part of the arm. You can do that all over them.
You can blow it off?
Yeah, you can
You
work
say
it.
you blow them
You
off.
can blow them all off.
You work it. You just crank it really hard.
Yeah. You cut your mouth. You blow them off.
Yep. Just
anyway.
all over your face. Just
So
Heaps
number
like my
one,
kids are probably asleep
I
by now.
know we said before that like graphics doesn't come into it, but the graphics in this game are
no.
sick.
You don't ever come into the graphics.
Look at that guy then. Oh man. Amazing. It's such a build on
Such a big, thick tower of a build.
such a Dr. Manhattan. But it's such a build on the first one. Such an achievement.
Big achievement.
Is that just grows?
It's massive.
It's like
Engorged?
like waking up next to my dad.
It's nuts.
Bill.
Why is everyone
Crikey.
then there's the music in this game. The music in this game is chronic also. Like metal music, like full orchestra of metal dudes going off, blowing it everywhere.
I'm noticing a trend.
This game just makes me gush. Like seriously, like I can talk about this game forever. It makes me sweaty.
Is it hard?
I wake up with a hangover. What?
Is the game hard?
Oh, dude, the game gets so hard. Doom is the best innuendo game I've ever played. Like, Doom Eternal, sorry. But seriously, real talk. This
If you turn Doom upside down, it says wood.
This game is a first. I know I said before first-person shooters can't look good. This one does for some reason. And it has 100% captured the essence of what Doom originally was. Like, in a way that I thought was actually impossible. I didn't think you could get back that kind of like lightning in a bottle that they got the first time around, and they really got it with this, and just
Go ahead, head just
amazing.
All right.
Dan's game of the year.
Dan's
Doom
game. All right,
Eternal.
we'll do that as well, Floppy. We'll say what we actually think game of the year will be, and then what our personal game of the year will be.
Okay.
So I think, having only played 20 minutes, I personally think Ghost of Tsushima is in there with a good shot.
Is that allowed to be in there?
No, that's
No,
not.
no, the game of the year. So ones
Okay.
that are yet to come out, also included. So this is what I'm picking as what I think the game of the year will be, and that's my pick so far. The game that I would like to win, which may win.
We should have called it Game of the Financial Year.
Oh, next year. Next year.
God, can that just be our picks? Can we make our official game of the year forever just financial game of the year?
No
Yes.
spoilers, Dylan. He's only played like
there'll
20
be no
minutes.
spoilers. Don't worry.
No, we're not that kind of guy.
So at the end,
They all die.
they all gush.
They all get. Last of Us Part 2 is my pick for Game of the Year.
Spoilers. No, that's safe combinations.
For no other
5,
reason
6,
than to simply
3,
shut up all the internet trolls. It's also it's a beautiful story with a beautiful narrative. And it also really shows why you should always take into consideration the other side of the story. Like, your own personal narrative isn't the way that the world necessarily is. There's two sides to a coin, two sides to each story. You have to take in consideration what other people have been through and how their vision of the current situation is. And I think a lot of the furor over that is the fact that people aren't used to that, especially in games. You're used to being, oh, this is the good person. I'm the good person because I'm killing those bad people. As soon as you're forced to look outside of that, you don't like it. Naughty Dog here, Naughty Dog doesn't owe you anything. People getting upset with the narrative that the story that they told, they don't owe you anything. They are there telling you their story. You're not partaking in this story. You are witnessing the story they want to tell. And that's a very brave stance for a AAA game studio to take, especially with a popular franchise like this. We got this. All right, I am going to spoil Last of Us Part 1. So, spoiler warning. Oh, yeah, you haven't finished it yet, have you?
So close.
So, I'm not going to spoil it.
Oh.
And I literally can't hear you.
You really can't? All right.
I can't believe Ellie survived the first one.
So my point being, in Last of Us Part 1, Joel's the bad guy. You ever thought of that? You're playing the fucking bad guy the whole game because what he does isn't what good people do. He's a bad guy.
That's not really a spoiler. That's just a...
Oh, it is for someone who's not finished the game.
Legitimately could not hear a thing.
Games are
I can't
becoming...
watch this now. Shit.
Games are becoming better, becoming more of an art form. They're becoming a better way to tell a story. They're more in depth. They're more inclusive. All these games aren't going to be to your liking. So if something isn't to your liking, it doesn't owe you anything. You just have to accept it, admit that it's not to your liking, and move along. Just leave it, because there are plenty of people who find this sort of story, this kind of immersion and this way of storytelling, which is just amazing and a way forward. And that's what games should be doing. They should always be pushing forward with whatever they do.
I admit, I got bored in some bits.
Yeah,
but
that's fine.
The violence is good in it. And people kept saying, "Oh man, it's so violent. It might be too violent." To me, it wasn't. Like, this
Says
is
the
nowhere
man who
near
loves
as
Doom
violent as
Eternal.
Doom.
Who gets hard with Doom Eternal.
Anyway, Floppy, your game.
Okay, so I'll mention 3. One that I think is actually going to win is probably Ghost of Tsushima.
Yep.
One
Ooh.
I want to win is Maneater, because it's the game I've had the most fun with this year.
Which a lot of other people have as well.
Yes.
Brayden?
Yeah, Maneater, I also went ahead and platinumed it.
Oh, how good is it? Like,
and
how much fun is it?
I had a great fun time.
And my co-host of Television Horror Podcast, she
Jen?
platinumed it as
Yeah,
well.
Jen loved it.
She loved it.
So that is my favourite game that I've played
That's a
so far. But the one I think I'm going to
gem.
mention tonight is, because if we don't mention it, I think we'd probably get some nasty comments.
Lynched?
Yeah, is the Final Fantasy VII Remake.
It looks great.
I watched this.
How
For those of
photorealistic
those
is it?
on the podcast, we've got a fan-made film up on the screen.
Like a joke one.
Yeah, and they're riding chocobos. It starts with a guy dressed up as Cloud coming up to what's her name and saying, "Sorry, I can't save the world right now. I have to do a chocobo race." And then they're just running through a city on makeshift chocobos. It's
Like when you have a horse that you put your legs in. And
It's
your
a good
legs are the
time.
horse and you got fake legs.
Shut up.
Yeah, anyway, so first of all, like, it's a story. Yes, it's a complete remake, so I think it is eligible for a
Yep, I agree.
Game of the year because they've been rebuilt it from the ground up. Everything's same story, but completely redone. It's a story that's already a significant part of video game history. Like, it is already one that's been talked about, and I can't. This thing is so distracting.
And so just to distract you a little bit more, I know what you're trying to say here. It's already a significant part in video game history. A lot of people were looking forward to this coming out.
Yeah, absolutely.
And, I don't think that should be a option with choosing Game of the Year because as someone who's never played Final Fantasy VII, Dan, stop watching this. Dan, you loved Final Fantasy VII growing up.
Yeah.
You never played the original.
Nah.
You played.
I got all the toys.
remake.
I watched all the films. I played all the other games, like Dirge of Cerberus, Crisis Core. I did everything. Everything you could have done. I watched Advent Children. I got obsessed with it. I read about the lore. Never played the game.
And when you finally got your hands on the remake, the game that Floppy's saying is Game of the Year, what's your opinion of it?
I didn't like it that much, eh?
Luckily, Dan doesn't pick Game of the Year.
I'm bitter at the lawyers for banning me. I'm bitter, and I'm bitter at them. I sent them an email, and they never got back. They didn't even give me a courtesy email or anything, and they banned me for no reason.
So I'll get to that. I think the character. I think it looks beautiful,
live,
except for the
lawyers.
Dan will pick out the textures.
Don't threaten the lawyers again.
Oh, yeah.
We've been through this.
Oops. The textures were like I showed it. Like it was laughable in some sections. Like it shouldn't have been in there. They should have done a better job. There were like so many games out there at the moment that have great textures the whole way through, and like there was no reason. They were like that. I don't know. Maybe it was a homage to the PS1 days, and they just decided to do a couple of textures that were absolutely horseshit.
What about playability of it? Like, was it interesting? Was it engaging?
It was great. Like the playability was awesome. The
gameplay system was
the bosses were awesome. Everything they put in was boring. They were all just fetch quests. They were like, go fetch a child, he needs dinner. Like, you know what I mean? Like they were totally irrelevant to the story. They've gotten an orange and they've rolled it out into a cucumber.
I put it down to obviously this is going to get voted.
No,
for.
Braden, turn that off.
It's textures.
Textures.
And
the game itself
not even
already
a bad
had such
one.
a huge impact on the culture. The anticipation for it alone was bigger.
But that doesn't mean it's Game of the Year.
No, but I think that will contribute to it.
Why? How?
Because this is something
talking
going to
about
get voted for.
Yeah, but you're voting on the game. You're not talking about the lead up to it.
No, but what I'm saying is that it had a more anticipation than a lot of games get excitement for even upon their release.
I reckon it'll be forgotten. It'll be forgotten by the
Not
time
just that.
the
Not
year
just that.
ends.
Number one most important fact.
Number one.
It's the only one that's got us banned.
Yeah,
No other game's got us banned from YouTube.
Well,
now they did the mega CD.
So what I'm saying is Manny
that's
Genesis.
right. Yeah, the mini Genesis that we
there
did
was
an
that.
early review on. That got us almost in trouble.
So what I'm saying is Man Eater for Game of the Year.
Okay, yeah, I'm fine with that. All right.
Didn't score over 80 though. Sorry.
Hey, Braden,
Yo.
let's do it.
Dan
Versus
the world.
Not me. What did you want to do?
Kojima Watch.
Oh.
How dare you forget our Lord and Savior? Take us back to Kojima Watch.
Smite him.
I'm still in a dream, snake eater.
I'm
best-
so angry right
The
now.
best part of that is you got to see a little Braden's face stuffing up.
All flustered.
Yeah.
Anyway, Kojima Watch. This is where we look at what our Lord and Savior Kojima-san is up to. And boy, has he had a busy couple of weeks with the release of Death Stranding coming to the PC today? Today, or 2 days ago. 2 days ago.
No idea.
15th.
Don't have a PC.
As part of the promotion, Kojima and Yoji Shinkawa, I always mess up his name, sat
That's
down
the
with,
other dude, isn't it?
the
The
artist. Sat down with Jeff Keighley and spoke about it. During that, Kojima made a huge announcement saying that he didn't predict the pandemic. And
Which
that,
is weird.
yeah, I know.
Did anyone?
If he was a prophet, he says he would have been able to make a higher selling game.
But he is a god.
He is a god.
He must have had something to do with it.
No, but
He's not the god. He's just a god.
he's not boastful. He's just one of the gods. And
He's that god. He's like Boulder.
yeah. Look, I don't have a segue to lead into this, so Braden, just bring up the picture.
Yeah, I can do that. You wanna have a look at some beautiful stuff right here?
Stop stretching. You knew it was coming. There we are.
Look at that.
Is this the Akira
Look
bike?
at him.
it looks
So
like
this
an
is
Akira bike.
CD Projekt Red just decided to celebrate Death Stranding's release on the PC with putting Kojima in it. And my God, I want a poster of this on my roof.
Oh.
It is so good. Look at him.
Do you mean on your roof,
Wait,
like
is,
above your bed?
is this a CG
I stand
picture?
by my comment.
Is
Yeah.
this a CG picture?
Yeah,
Oh, I
this
thought
is
it
fully
was a
CG.
photo.
No, this is fully CG
You
picture.
thought that was his actual bike?
How good would it be if Kojima's an NPC in the game?
Oh.
Or a playable
clean that
character.
up.
You can play him and you can only make video games.
That's your whole.
Oh, wow.
So
That'd
let's
be great.
look at that. Look at that, man. Let's all just sit here for a moment and just ponder the wonderful person that is Hideo Kojima.
That's enough. All right.
Oh.
What's next?
Brayden, now.
Now? Okay.
Okay.
Dan. Versus the world.
Bless. Hey.
It does say it in the thing.
Does it?
Yeah.
Anyway, time for Dan versus the World, a game that your glasses.
Oh no.
A game that we like to play where I have 3 songs from video games past or video games future. I will play the first song for 5 seconds, or maybe a bit more, depends if I like the tune. Dan, representing Dan, will take a guess. Then Floppy and Brayden will work in a combined effort to represent you, the world, and they will have their guess, and they will go backwards and forwards for the series of 5? For the 5 turns, and after 5, they get an opportunity to guess what it is. If they get it right, they get a point. If they don't, they don't. They can try and guess before the 5th question, but if they get it wrong, the point goes to the other team. At the end of last episode, we had the world on 24 and Dan on 21. Gentlemen, are we ready to do some listening?
Oh, I'm gonna listen up a storm.
You better listen your ears off.
I'm gonna listen so hard. I'm gonna gush everywhere.
Sorry.
Okay, Dan, question number 1.
I'm pretty sure it's not a Vectrix game.
Good call.
So what? I'm trying to think of a question I haven't asked before. I'm gonna try one.
What is the answer?
No.
We've had that before back in the day.
Every time
You
we had a
lose.
guest on, they went, "Oh, what's the answer?" It's to the point where I go, "Right, that's incorrect," and they lose a
What
point.
is the? I've asked them before. I like this one. What is the main antagonist, if there is an antagonist?
There, to my knowledge,
without
there-
giving it away.
there probably is, but there's not one.
There is no antagonist.
Is that
Next.
like, are you saying
There is, but all right, there is, but there are other players.
there's men? Oh.
Okay.
Okay,
Okay.
gave it away too much.
So humans,
Sure.
multiplayer.
World question number 1.
So that answers actually it's a multiplayer game.
Floppy, you wanna ask any
Um,
weird, crazy questions?
Does
Come on, mate.
This game,
Get here.
Does this game have a story?
It has a meta story, yeah. Oh, no, not so much meta. No, it has a story, but it is kind of meta.
Okay.
So there's only one game multiplayer that has a meta story.
2. Question number 2.
Oh, I think there's 2 games. I'm not going to go though. When was it released?
It was released in Are You the Lord?
Pardon?
Dear
What?
the Lord.
2016.
When was that? How many years ago?
4. For those of you with fingers.
I
Brayden.
kick out backwards.
Question number 2.
Floppy, do you wanna?
I know what it is. I've known it the whole time.
Yeah.
Hey, do you?
Yeah.
yeah.
Do you wanna guess then?
Oh.
Me.
Go for it.
No, Ben.
No, if Dan's had his guess, it's your turn.
Yeah, I'm saying Floppy, go for it.
Is it Overwatch?
Yes!
Did you actually know that, Dan?
Yeah.
Oh, I would not have get that without knowing that that multiplayer.
Really?
Nah.
I just gave
I
it
had
away.
no idea what the music was.
So well
it does.
done.
It totally does have a story, eh?
Does
yeah,
it?
I know.
Does it though?
No, it's not in
that's
the
what I meant.
game.
It's kind of meta in that
Is that
it's
when
not
they
in
do like
the game.
little mini
Yeah.
comics and stuff?
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah.
I
Little
won't lie,
It has,
when
movie-
I
it has like movies and everything.
Yeah, but that's not part of the
music
game.
Started, I thought it was a
Kind of
Yu-Gi-Oh game.
Well,
I
I
thought
I
chose
have no idea.
I heard like the Yu-Gi-Oh thing.
I chose Hanzo's theme
Yeah.
to
I thought
try and
it-
trick you with Sekiro and
I thought it might have been like
Ghosts.
a weird cutscene from
Ah.
Fortnite at first, like or something.
Well,
So do they all have their own music and stuff like that?
Yeah.
Okay, I don't
okay,
play
there we go.
Overwatch.
Number 2.
Spider-Verse.
It's a lightsaber.
Interstellar?
Yeah. Right, isn't it? Okay. Question number 1.
What genre of video game is that, mate?
That's not really a genre.
What do you mean?
Um,
What do you mean? Right.
Question number 1.
what year did this game come out?
This year. Question number 2.
I still don't understand what the answer to my question was. So it doesn't have a genre. So it doesn't exist.
Floppy's on a roll today, I think.
What was Floppy's question?
What year
Should
did
have
it
been
come
listening.
out?
When was it come out?
This year.
A year.
What console did it come out on or whatever?
PlayStation 4.
Go, Floppy.
Is it Dreams?
Yes, it is.
Boys.
Man, Floppy, you're on a roll. World's on 26 now. Dan's on 21.
That's a genre. It's like it's a builder or something.
Builder. Ah, the classic builder genre.
Minecraft.
Yeah, like that. Minecraft.
Okay, here we go. Song number
Fresh haircut,
3.
You could be this good too.
We ready?
Yep.
That's it.
Song number 1? No,
Song
sorry.
number
Question
one?
number 1.
What is how what
What is how I mean?
What is how? What is how? Why?
How?
what is I'm trying to think of something that actually be good to ask. What
Come on, Dan.
I'm trying to think of something I don't know.
Oh, there's a lot.
What
Name of any of these songs?
what number game is it in the series?
Oh, for fuck. The latest one.
Maybe I didn't know this.
Oh no, Floppy.
Question number 1, World.
What is your main weapon?
The Master Sword. Question number 2.
The latest one, eh?
The latest one.
So what if we count what are we counting here? Like as the latest one. What view do you have?
The same view you have throughout all those games.
All of them?
Well, not all of them, but a majority of the latest ones. World, question number 2.
Floppy.
No, go, Braden.
Okay, is The Legend of Zelda Breath of the Wild?
No.
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 It is. It's a link to the the one.
No, shut up, Dan.
Wait, that's shh. It is that one I played heaps, isn't it?
No.
Is it Cadence of Hyrule?
No.
Is it
Link's
the other one?
Awakening?
No.
What?
Champion's Ballad. The DLC add-on to Breath of the Wild. All of you, eat it.
Hey,
Wait
Ben,
up.
Ben, do you want to know what you are?
No. I'm sorry. You might control the buttons,
was
but I control
rude.
the world.
Link's Awakening.
Oh dear. Aren't we
Link's
all
Awakening.
failures?
That's it. What it was called? I was trying to remember.
That's apparently not what it's called.
Ladies and gentlemen, we have been Hack the Dino. We come to you each and every week over on youtube.com/Hack the Dino. Be sure to like, share, subscribe, do all the things, especially this video. If you could do the thumb up thing, we'd really like to thumb you up, baby.
Whoa.
You can also
put a thumb up there.
You can also head on over to bit.ly/Hack the Dino to join our super friendly and super awesome Discord. Bunch of great people in there. We really, really appreciate all the conversations.
If you like talking games, go over there.
There's such a good community over there.
We are also over on the old Twitch where Dan sometimes streams games. He's getting back to that soon. There's just other things that need to take priority at the moment, which is why we're coming to you weekly. But head on over to twitch.tv/Hack the Dino. And finally, if you're a podcast type of person, you can catch us over on Spotify, on iTunes, and on SoundCloud, and all podcast devices. Now, Dan, you've got some Patreons you'd like to thank?
Yeah, so we have a Patreon, and every week we thank the producer level Patreons. These are the people that support us at the highest rank that we've got. Is this the highest rank?
Yeah.
Highest rank that
$1,000.
we've got. And you get mentioned every show. So
These are the best rankers we have.
these are the
Bunch of rankers, all of them. Just
Rankers.
The
These
number
are
one
the-
rankers.
These are our totes friends. So
That's their official title. I'm changing the pledge.
So Sam Beard, thank you to Sam Beard.
Thanks,
Thank
Sam.
you to Ashraf. Thank you to Floppy. Thank you to Todd Randall. Thank you to Tommaso. Thank you to Mike Towns. Thank you to Karen Knight. Thank you to Ash Knight. Thank you to Dylan Stevens. And thank you to Carlin Budd. Triple Indy. We can't do this without you. We love you. Without your money. And
Your
support.
generous
Without your
support.
generous support, we can't. You keep the mics on, you keep the lights on, you let us do this. You let us create this for you guys, and I love that so much. And I can't thank you enough. Like,
I can thank you enough. Thanks. That's it. What more do you want? Huh?
oh, you
Probably
little
Dino more.
turkey man.
Anyway, Floppy, you got something to plug?
Yeah, look, if you like looking at stuff that I buy and stuff that I pay for monies for and sometimes get gifted or play, jump over on Instagram to Floppy Plays Games. I've been a little inactive over the last couple of weeks, but I've got a whole bunch of stuff that I'm going to throw up there over the weekend, I think.
Basically, if you want to see what the life of a game anthropologist entails.
Yeah, where
Brayden.
all my money goes.
Do you want to plug some things?
Yo, I want to plug some things. I'll quickly plug my other podcast that I actually work on. It is a movie podcast called Millennial Movie Talk. We talk about movie news. We just had a guest from, some people know Pretty Much It and More Than Enough over on YouTube. They do a lot of movie-related stuff. Jake came and guested on our show.
Who's Jake?
He's American. He's over in America.
Oh.
Yeah, so we got a bit of an insight into what it's like being in America right now. And we also talked about a bunch of movie stuff, if you like movies.
Bring up my picture as well, Brad.
I'm about to. I'm
Of
getting
my
there.
podcast, which I'm just about to plug, which is I do a horror movie podcast over on SoundCloud and YouTube. It is called TerrorVision Horror Podcast. I do that. I co-host that with Jennifer Strand, and it's basically if you love horror, which I do. We talk about horror films that we've watched. We do reviews. We talk about horror news. It's basically this, but horror films. But it's only audio. So go over there, check it out, give us a thumb, give us a comment, give us a star. All those things help. Or just go over there and listen to it if you like horror movies and you love looking at my little face. Actually, you can't see it ever because it's audio.
You
Suck
can
a
hear his
dick.
face, though.
But
Cancel Dan, ladies and gentlemen, and you can see my other podcast with your ears. It's called Retro Trigger, where we look at all things retro. We've talked about Super Nintendo with Floppy. We've talked about Transformers with Sean Fuster, who's the lead court reporter for The Advertiser, also a big old nerd. And speaking of big old nerds, the latest episode is out now, which features this big old nerd talking
Little
about
nerd.
Dragon Ball Z. That was a real fun episode.
did you like that one?
I did. I really enjoyed it.
We went deep on some of that
We
stuff.
did. We got coming up next month with Dean Rankin, who is the artist for some of the old Simpsons comics. We're talking about season 5 of The Simpsons.
And
which
this is legit Simpsons comics. This
Yeah.
isn't just like
this
the
is
Australian
the Bongo,
Simpsons.
no, the Bongo comics.
Some dude that
Yeah.
drew Simpsons pictures in the back of his notebook at
No,
school.
he's the actual artist. He's a very lovely man. We've also got Ben from the Toy Power podcast talking about He-Man coming up, and I just recorded an episode with Mr. A-Game talking about Nintendo 64. So that was a lot of fun as well.
guy.
That's coming up. So Retro Trigger, just search for it everywhere. We're there.
It's our most
Wherever you
popular
look.
podcast.
That's right.
Game Boy Dad says more floppy. All right, I'll give you one. This is my latest pickup. Look at that.
Done.
Well
Super
done.
Game Boy.
Thank you, everyone. Be sure to do the thumbs up, all the things. We'll see you next week. Be good to people you like. Screw the bad guys.